Imagine waking up one morning to discover that you have been legally removed as the CEO of the company you built from scratch. Your office access has been revoked, your email has been disabled, and the people you once trusted, maybe even the people you brought into business, are now the ones signing documents behind your back. Sounds like a Nollywood plot, right? But it's not. This is the reality of several Nigerian CEOs who poured years of sweat, sacrifice, and sleepless nights into building companies, only to lose everything in a boardroom battle. Let me tell you a real life story to set the stage. A Nigerian CEO started an oil servicing company. He had the vision, he had the network, and he built the business from the ground up. He was signing big contracts, attracting investors, and living the dream every entrepreneur hopes for. But there was one problem. The foundation of his company was weak. He didn't put in place the right legal structures, and he never clearly defined shareholding agreements, directors' powers, or exit clauses. To him, paperwork was a distraction from the hustle. Then one day, after a heated disagreement, his co-founders and board members convened a meeting. They passed a resolution, and just like that, they voted him out. He went to court hoping for justice, hoping that his years of hard work would count for something. But the documents were clear. His own company had legally fired him. He lost everything. Not in the marketplace, not because of competition, but in the boardroom. This is the tragedy that so many Nigerian CEOs walk into blindly. And here is where we dive into the first and perhaps the deadliest mistake: weak company structure. Many CEOs are obsessed with raising funds, chasing clients, and getting the next big contract, that they ignore the boring part of business: shareholders agreements, directors roles, exit strategies. The truth is, when conflict arises, and it always does, the law does not care about your hustle. It does not care about the night you stayed awake or the risks you took. The law only cares about what is on paper. If your company structure is weak, you have handed your business over on a platter to anyone clever enough to exploit the gaps. I cannot emphasize this enough. Your sweat means nothing if your structure is weak. The second mistake is even more subtle, and it has destroyed more companies than many people even realize: neglect of CAC filings and compliance. A lot of CEOs in Nigeria think that once you register a company with the Corporate Affairs Commission, you are done. But that's not true. Your obligations don't end at registration. They begin there. Annual returns, share allotments, resolutions. These are not optional filings. They are the backbone of your company's legal identity. I've seen situations where a founder believed with all his heart that he owned 70% of his business. But when things got tough and the matter ended up in court, the CAC filings told a different story, and law sided with the documents, not with the founder's assumptions. In fact, in Nigerian law, the records at the Corporate Affairs Commission are what stand as the truth. Your word, your memory, even your good intentions mean nothing in that moment. That's how people lose companies quietly, even without realizing the exact moment it happened. If the filings don't match your ownership, in the eyes of the law, you are not the owner. The third mistake CEOs make is one that looks harmless on the surface, but is deadly in the long run: poor board advisory. Many Nigerian CEOs treat the board of directors like a formality. They stack it with friends, relatives, or early investors without realizing the legal power of a board. But here is the reality: a board is not a family council. A board is not there for decoration. By law, a board has real powers. Powers that in most cases includes removing the CEO. Yes, your board can legally fire you. And if you don't have proper structures and advisory in place, there's nothing you can do about it when that day comes. I've seen it happen. CEOs who trusted family members or close friends to sit on their boards, only to wake up one morning and find out that those same people voted them out of the company. Betrayal is painful, but legal betrayal backed by valid documents, is even worse, because the law will not sympathize with your emotions. And this brings me to the bigger lesson. Nigerian CEOs love to think that the law will reward their sweat, their sleepless nights, their sacrifices, and their hard work. But the harsh reality is this: the law does not protect sweat. The law protects structure. You can work day and night, build an empire, and become a household name. But if your governance and structure are weak, your empire can vanish with a single board resolution. That's why I always emphasize to CEOs and business leaders: if you are serious about your business, you must take legal structuring seriously. Don't wait until there is conflict before you act, because by then it's already too late. The law only defends those who prepare in advance. And that is exactly why I work with CEOs and business leaders to help them put the right legal structures in place so they never lose control of the company they built. To ensure every CAC filing, every compliance is airtight and cannot be used against them. To provide board advisory services that safeguard not just ownership but also leadership rights. If you're a Nigerian CEO or you are building a company that you hope to pass down or scale, you must protect it before the battle begins. Because once the boardroom war starts, you may already have lost. At the end of the day, the law only protects those who are prepared. The question is, will you be one of them? If you enjoyed this video, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel to be part of this legal family.